So I want to welcome everyone to the County Commissioner District 2 Forum. This forum is not a debate, it is a forum. Each candidate will be asked the questions. We flipped a coin prior to the forum beginning, and John Herr won the coin toss, but we give them the choice, and Beau Sandoval will kick us off. So I want to reiterate the two candidates today so you know who's speaking. First we have Beau Sandoval and we have John Herr. Asking the questions as part of this forum will be Tracy with the Rio Rancho Observer. So we appreciate Rio Rancho Observer, Rio Rancho Public Schools, and all the assistance from the Chamber and Greencastle Media for helping us out today. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Beau Sandoval, you're up first.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jerry. Thanks, John, for being here. And thank you to the Rio Rancho Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. My name's Beau Sandoval, and I'm running for County Commission in District 2. District 2 is the southern part of Rio Rancho Elementary School area, Haynes Park, Cabazon, and the Lincoln Middle School area. I'm running for a multitude of reasons, but the main reason, I think, is when I look to politics nowadays, I see a tremendous amount of potential, but also an unreasonable amount of division. Right now, over these last 150 days, I've been knocking doors, talking to as many voters as possible, and despite how we may feel on the top of the ticket, how we may feel at the national media, we're actually much more united, and we agree on many more policies than we actually know. I'm running to add a different voice, a new vision, and a fresh perspective to Sandoval County. I want to grow on what we've been able to achieve these last few years, but also reach towards something different. My name's Beau Sandoval, running for County Commission. I'm eager to talk to you all about why I'm running, my vision for the future, and I'm so thankful to be here, and thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Beau. John, you're opening.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Chamber, for having me this afternoon. I'm John Herr, and I'm running for County Commissioner for District 2. And why should you choose me as your County Commissioner? Well, because I'm running because this is my home. I've lived here in Rio Rancho, Sandoval County for nearly 30 years, and in that time, we've had very low crime. When I started here, I even tried to create a neighborhood watch group because I thought that would be a necessary thing, but it turned out there was very little interest because there was very low crime. That is still true today, and I think it's important that we continue to avoid becoming like Albuquerque and other surrounding communities where we have a lot of crime. But in the end, I'm running to be your county commissioner. We are all Americans first, we are all citizens of Sandoval County, and we all need to work together to continue to have a great future here.
Thank you, John. All right, you get the very first question. So Tracy?
Yes, this is a 2-minute question, and it is on economic development. What strategies would you recommend for the county to employ in attracting new businesses and promote economic development? And how would you work to support existing local businesses?
Very good question. So economic development in this age where we have a very diverse workforce and more tech jobs and more complicated things that need to be done, a lot of it has to do with providing resources for those that want to further their education, either through C&M or other public means. I also say that it's not only a young workforce and a new one, but sometimes, people don't always retire, they just change their profession. And that new education is every bit as important for older citizens of the county as it is for younger. As far as a business goes, the role of the county commission is to run the business of the county, and that includes assuring that businesses have the infrastructure that they need, that we assist businesses with like I said, there's overhead, so we should continue to help them find the workers that they need, and basically play the role of matchmaker. Historically, we have worked with local businesses like Intel, who've provided $5 million of funding to our community, and helped a number of new businesses form, like Ex-Novo, GeoDrug, and others, and they've all been great success stories. We are one of the fastest growing and safest communities in New Mexico, and we definitely want to work to support new businesses that want to move here. We need a safe community. Public safety plays a role in that. People want to have a safe place to live. They want to have a place to move that they don't have to worry about crime and other things, where they can safely raise a family. I think it's a broad picture that is necessary to attract and support the workforce.
Thank you, John. Tracy, you want to repeat the question?
Yes. What strategies would you recommend for the county to employ in attracting new businesses and promote economic development? And how would you work to support existing local businesses?
Well, thank you so much for that question, Tracy. And I want to say, much to what John said, I'm from Rio Rancho. I've lived in Rio Rancho my whole life, and this community is very personal to me, and I think it's about what we can accomplish together. But to answer your specific question about supporting existing local businesses and encouraging the continued development of local businesses, what it ultimately comes down to, the way I see it, is having sound, reasonable zoning and taxation policy, but also cutting some of the red tape that I hear from so many folks who are trying to start small businesses when I'm knocking on doors speaking to voters that say it's so much harder to go through the process of starting a business than it even is to operate and run a business. The fact of the matter is Sandoval County is the fastest growing county in the state of New Mexico, and we have a tremendous capacity and tremendous potential to make sure that we're not only the best place to start a business, but own, operate, and expand a business. And that starts with local policy on the Sandoval County Commission to ensure that folks are not only encouraged to start businesses, but businesses that fit their specific needs. Now, when I think about workers and maintaining and retaining our workers in particular, I think about how we treat so many of our students and so many of the folks who are entering the workforce today. We need to make sure that we're encouraging folks who are born and lived and raised in Sandoval County to stay in Sandoval County, to start a business, to start a family. And that starts with our local policies to ensure that we have a business-friendly policy and a sound policy to start, own, and raise a family within safe communities to ensure people want to stay in Sandoval County, people want to work in Sandoval County, but people want to maintain a living within Sandoval County. So to answer your question specifically, I do think it starts with what we can do to encourage small businesses through incentives both in grants, taxation policy, cutting the red tape to make sure that people know this is the best place to start, own, and operate a business, and making sure that our young folks want to stay not only in Sandoval County, but the state of New Mexico. As we know, we have a tremendous brain drain problem right now, and if we have sound, concrete policy, we can preserve our young people, expand our businesses, and make sure people know that Sandoval County is the business hub, not only in New Mexico, but in the Southwest.
Thank you, Beau. Next question goes right back to you.
Okay, this is a 1-minute question, and it's on crime and public safety. What can the county do to ensure that the high crime rates seen in other parts of the state don't creep into Sandoval County?
Absolutely, and that's a great question, and one of the reasons that I, as my first part of this campaign, met directly with Jesse James Casals, our sheriff here in Sandoval County, to hear what our folks in local law enforcement need, what the folks who keep our community safe need from us on the county commission. And the fact of the matter is that right now when I speak to the Sandoval County Sheriff's Office, we have a tremendous understaffing problem, but it's because we have a retention issue where we cannot compete with BCSO, Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, APD, Rio Rancho Police Department, to make sure we have the benefits, the pay, and the qualifications that make sure officers want to stay in Sandoval County. It's a safe county right now, as my opponent has acknowledged, but as we continue to grow, the only way we can continue to maintain our safety is by investing in our law enforcement. Right now in Sandoval County is at full capacity. We have 26 deputies patrolling the entire county. If I'm elected as your county commissioner, I'll make sure that we're able to expand those numbers so that folks can not only reach between Cuba, Rio Rancho, Bernalillo, the village of Corrales, but also Jemez Springs and Coach Tree Lake, which is our ever-growing and very large county that we need to serve. 26 deputies is quite frankly not enough for a Sandoval County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Beau. John, same question. You want to repeat it, Tracy?
Yes. What can the county do to ensure the high crime rates seen in other parts of the state don't creep into Sandoval County?
Well, the number one thing we need to do, as Beau pointed out, is we need to continue to support our sheriff's department and make sure that they good employee retention and compensation is all important. We also need to make sure they have the training and facilities that they need, which they recently did build a training facility, a state-of-the-art training facility for the sheriff's department. But public safety goes beyond that too. We need to have, we need to make sure that as we reach further north in our county, up to 550, that we continue to expand our communications ability so that sheriffs can go on calls quicker and be effective when needed by the public. And again, funding and supplies and everything is all important. Recruitment is even more important. So that's all.
Thank you, John. Next question's coming right back to you.
Okay. This one has to do with county priorities. It's a 2-minute question. As the fastest growing county in the state, what do you feel are the biggest challenges Sandoval County has ahead of it? And what do you think the county is doing right? And what are the top needs of the county?
That's right. We are the fastest growing area in New Mexico. We are also the safest. So a lot of the things that we are doing right is we are doing a lot of great business growth and attracting new business. We're also expanding opportunity corridors, like we mentioned, between here and I-40, where a lot of businesses are going to new businesses will eventually call home. So the things we're doing right is we are building out infrastructure. We are laying the groundwork basically for new businesses to come in, and we're providing a secure environment for them. The bigger picture of the secure environment is that we do have an effective court system and we do have effective law enforcement, unlike surrounding areas. To expand more, we need to continue our relationship with the large companies that are here, including Intel, who has funded a lot of our community, and a lot of the new small businesses and our medical needs that are upcoming too. So we have a large need for more nurses, more tech jobs, and supporting everything like that. That's all I have.
Thank you, John. Beau, you have the same question coming back to you. Tracy, you want to repeat it?
As the fastest growing county in the state, what do you feel are the biggest challenges Sandoval County has ahead of it? And what do you think the county is doing right? As well as what are the top needs of the county?
Well, I think what we're doing right is a lot of what we've talked about already. Some of our safety, some of our continued development and expansion as the largest growing county in the state of New Mexico. But we have to continue to maintain and ensure that sustainable development. And to me, that really starts with making sure that we have people who not only live in Rio Rancho, but work in Rio Rancho. When I talk to so many folks all around the community, we have a tremendous amount of folks who live in Rio Rancho, but make the travel every single day to get to Albuquerque. And that starts with expanding our small businesses, and not only our small businesses, but to Commissioner Herr's point, our large businesses. Intel is obviously a tremendous driving power here in Rio Rancho and has led to so much of our expansion and development. But the only way we can continue to sustainably expand, sustainably grow, is to not only support our small businesses, but ensure that we're a place of attraction for large businesses to want to expand their businesses, to want to move their businesses to Rio Rancho, because the fact of the matter is we can support sound tax policies, we can support sound policies as far as incentives to make sure that large businesses know that this is not only a safe place to start a business, but a sustainable place to grow their business. When I think about having people who live in Rio Rancho but work in Albuquerque, I think part of the issue that I also hear is some of the housing potential that we have. While housing is tremendously affordable here in Rio Rancho and Sandoval County, a lot of the jobs that we have aren't as high paying and don't have the competitive wages, benefits, and compensation that some of the jobs in Albuquerque have. And the bottom line, the only way we can get those jobs here and encourage people to live in Sandoval County, live in Rio Rancho, and stay in Rio Rancho is making sure we have the sound, business-friendly policies that we need, that are common sense, that don't have a D or an R in front of them, that make sure that we know we love our community, we love Rio Rancho, and we know that it can be even better if we continue to support, invest, and expand our small businesses, but the capacity to have large businesses here in Rio Rancho as well.
Thank you, Beau. Next question's coming right back to you.
Okay, this is a 1-minute question and it's on education. How can the county support the growth of career technical education programs to better prepare students and workers for high demand industries?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a very important question that impacts me as somebody who was recently a part of our public school system here in Rio Rancho. The fact of the matter is we don't teach career technicals and some of the service skills that we used to teach in high schools. The way that we can encourage our folks to enter our young folks to enter career and technical education is by teaching them again in the high schools. We have a trajectory right now where we encourage so many of our folks to go to university, college, secondary education. And that choice is right for some people, but the fact of the matter is there's hundreds, thousands of people in our community right now where that's not the right choice for them. But we need to have the option for them to be able to be exposed to some of these practices, some of these vocations within high school to make sure that they know what their options are so they don't feel the only option is to bury their eyeballs in student loan debt and have a chance at an education whether they know what they're going to school for or not. If we start the exposure early within our high schools, even our middle schools, to have wood shops, to have the technical shops that we need, kids will make sure they know what their possibilities are and can enter into a sustainable career technical service field.
Thank you, Beau. John, questions coming right back to you. Tracy, you want to repeat it?
Yes. How can the county support the growth of career technical education programs to better prepare students and workers for high-demand industries?
So the county is already working with the chamber on a program called Discover Sandoval, which does fund those type of educational opportunities in the public schools, and it also helps people reach, identify a career path and find where they can get the education to support that career path. We provide the idea of which openings are necessary, which career choices might be helpful. And it's just all important. So in some parts of the world, they identify aptitudes early on in public education, and they emphasize those. They don't necessarily send people on to secondary school like college or beyond. Usually a good tech degree is enough to provide an excellent career and a place to start work.
Thank you, John. All right, our next question, Tracy's coming right back to you, John.
Okay, this is a 1-minute question on childcare. What efforts can the county make to expand access to affordable childcare, particularly for working families, and how can we improve support for local childcare providers?
So the most grassroots way we can do that is we can incentivize the creation of more child care centers. That's just basic business incentives to encourage them to come here. It's also on us to match the need with the businesses. So influence where appropriate, where we can provide tax incentives for working families to spend money in those facilities to get the child care they need. Many households these days have both parents working, and they have a resounding need for child care, and we should assure that is available.
Thank you, John. Beau, same question. Tracy, you want to repeat it?
What efforts can the county make to expand access to affordable child care, particularly for working families, and how can we improve support for local child care providers?
Yeah, and just very briefly to go back to the last question because it's so important about how we support our young people. What the funding does do is invest within technical education, but it doesn't specifically require that technical education is taught within our public schools again. That is a specific caveat within that. To answer your further question about what we, excuse me, can you reiterate the question? Because I really wanted to make that point that the previous note is the fact that while we are investing, we don't have career technical education classes mandated within our public schools, which is extremely important. And excuse my nerves, so can you please reiterate the question very briefly?
Restate.
What efforts can the county make to expand access to affordable child care,
right,
particularly for working families, and how can we improve support for local child care providers?
Absolutely, and that is a crucial question to me, and especially when I think about talking to so many folks within my generation that we're facing between starting a family and purchasing and owning a home. Right now, the fact of the matter is that folks can't start their livelihood, can't start their career while also affording childhood care for their children. And the fact of the matter is that we have a unique opportunity to invest within child care to make sure that not only it's a right, but that people don't have to choose between starting a family and starting their careers. We can be the most pro-family county in the state of New Mexico by supporting our families through child care investment and making sure that they don't have to choose between their vocation and their family. So what I want to make sure we do is continue our investments on the county commission to make sure that this is accessible to all folks who work for a living and they don't have to make this ridiculous choice, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Beau. All right, the let's go ahead and go straight to the closings. Beau, you start off with 1 minute.
Absolutely. And I just want to start again by thanking each and every one of you for coming out tonight. Thank you, Jerry, for hosting this. Thank you, Commissioner Herr, for being here. This is what our democracy is about. It's about knowing who our local candidates are, knowing what the stakes are, knowing why we should be involved, and care about who the folks are on our local ballots. As you heard Commissioner Herr and I, while we had some disagreements, we largely agree about the fact that we want this to be the safest community to live in, the best place to start, own, and operate a business. But what this campaign about is, to me, is making sure that folks from the next generation have a seat at the table where the decisions are going to be made that will impact them for the longest. Right now, the fact of the matter is, we don't have folks from my generation who know the struggle of what it's like to start a family or start a business, to start a career or stay at home. Most folks are leaving New Mexico, and we have a tremendous capacity to make sure that young folks not only stay in New Mexico, but want to stay in New Mexico, because this can be the best place to start, own, operate, expand a business, and to have a family within a safe, reasonable community. My name's Beau Sandoval, running for Sandoval County Commission. I'm here to make a connection with each and every one of you. Thank you so much again for coming out. Thank you all for being here, and thanks again to everyone.
Thank you, Beau. John, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds. The reason is the last question ran long. It was Beau had 1.5 minutes for that, so we'll grant your extra half minute on the closing.
Thank you, Jerry. Thanks to everyone for coming here. I really appreciate it, and I just want to thank you again. As being someone who has decided to stay here in Sandoval County and not leave, like Beau was alluding to, this is my home. And why should you vote for me? Why should you support me in this run for County Commission? This is my home. I've been active in the community now for 30 years. I've volunteered for various different things. I have great relationship with my neighborhood and my community. We have a wonderful thing going here in Rio Rancho. We have the safest and fastest growing community. We are very business friendly. All those things need to continue. Basically, there is no better place to live in New Mexico than Sandoval County. We are an oasis of low crime, great opportunity, and great business, and we need to keep it that way. And we need to expand more businesses and give more hope to more people. And I appreciate your support. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you, John. All right, this concludes the forum for County Commissioner District 2. Once again, thank you to John Herr and Beau Sandoval for your participation today, and thank you to the audience. Give these folks a round of applause.